If you've started learning about real estate investing or you've been around other real estate investors, you've probably heard the term bird dog. Now, it's kind of a weird term, but you may be wondering what that means. By the end of this video, you're gonna know what a bird dog is, how a bird dog makes money, and how you can become one yourself if you wanna start making money as one. All a bird dog really is are deal finders. They're kind of similar to wholesalers, and I'm not gonna go super in depth about the comparisons, that's for another video, but all a bird dog does is find different properties. So they find addresses that are potential deals, and they send the address to the investor. And if the home that they send to the investor, if that investor ends up buying that home, they will get paid. And the amount they get paid is completely negotiable between the investor and that bird dog. But all a bird dog does is look for good deals. And they don't even have to lock these properties up under contract. So they're not a wholesaler where a wholesaler locks up deals under contract and then sells the contract to the investor. All they do is hunt for properties. They might see things that are in really bad shape, some horrible looking homes, and they send them to investors. They send the address to trusted investors, mind you, and say, hey, this is a property I found, see if you wanna buy it. And from that point, it's up to the investor to get in contact with the seller and buy that home from them. And if they do, if they're a good person and they're reputable and they do what they say they're gonna do, they're gonna pay the bird dog. Really, the term bird dog came from hunting. There were hunting dogs that would assist hunters, so the dogs would point to the direction where birds were at, and the hunter, sadly, if they shot the birds, the dog would go and retrieve them. So it's the same concept. In real estate, the hunters are the real estate investors. They're the ones who go for the kill. They're the ones who buy the homes, but they need some assistance finding the home. So you, if you're planning to bird dog, are the bird dog to find the homes for the hunters, for the investors. That's really where the term was coined. And there are so many ways a bird dog can find deals, just like ways that investors and wholesalers can find deals. You can either go and drive around and look for properties that are distressed or potentially distressed just by the looks of it. You can do your own cold calling and talk to sellers and see if they're even interested in selling. And if you found a seller that was kind of interested in selling, but you're not comfortable closing yourself, you can send it to an investor and they can do the job for you and you can get paid because of it. You could do your own mailers, you can do your own texting. Some things take more time and cost more money, but it's completely up to you as the bird dog to whichever route you want to go. At the very beginning, when I was really trying to scale my house flipping business, and I still am trying to scale it today, but at the very beginning, I relied on a lot of bird dogs. I mean, I had like 20 at once who were driving around, driving for dollars, looking for deals, and they'd send me property addresses. So once they sent me the property addresses at the time, I would call the sellers and I would see if the sellers would want to sell their home. And I had a system so that any home that came from a bird dog specifically, I'd write down the bird dog's name in the system so that every time I pulled up the system, I knew exactly where it came from, so that if I ever bought the home, I would know who to pay. And I had different agreements with everyone as far as how much they would get paid, but that's kind of how it worked. And luckily, I was able to gather different types of bird dogs, different people, because of my reputation. Now, I wouldn't recommend for you to bird dog for just anyone. You as the bird dog has to vet the investor. You have to make sure that that investor is reputable. So if you send them a deal and they buy it, you want to make sure that they're going to pay you, because otherwise you're just wasting your time. And like I said, it's completely negotiable as far as how much that investor will pay you. And so I'm gonna leave it up to you and the future investor to decide that. But typically fees, like I've kind of agreed to a lot of people to pay either $500 or $1,000 if they just send me a deal and they don't do anything else. Like if they don't help locking it up, they just send me the address, that's it. And I make sure that that address isn't already in my database. And at this point, pretty much like all the addresses are, so I don't really use a lot of bird dogs anymore unless there's some type of specific thing that they found or they identified to make something a good deal. Like maybe they talked to a homeowner and they found out that on tax records, it's a 2-bedroom home, but in reality, it's a 4-bedroom home. So there is so much potential that maybe a lot of other investors wouldn't see. So unless it was something like that, like I've kind of stuck to $500 to $1,000 per property that they find. But again, it's completely negotiable, up to you. It depends how good of a negotiator you are. I've just found that it's pretty fair. Like if you end up buying a home as an investor and you find it from a bird dog who did the dirty work, some of the dirty work to find the property and identify it, I feel like $500, $1,000 is pretty fair. Now you know what bird dogging is, how you can make money from it, and now I want to explain to you where you can find all your investors so you can start bird dogging yourself. The biggest thing about being a bird dog, even as an investor or a wholesaler, is just to network. Talk to people, talk to everyone. Go to networking events. So go to your real estate events, your meetups that your local people will host. Host one yourself, like gather a bunch of people. And if you're gonna be the person that's gonna be known to bring all these people together, that's a great way to network. So go to networking events. Another one I would say is to go to Facebook groups. So go to all your Facebook groups as far as the real estate investors or the real estate wholesalers, mainly the real estate investor groups. So you wanna go to the investor groups in your local area. So like if you live in Fresno or you wanna start doing deals in Fresno, you would search Fresno real estate investing, and then you join all the groups and then message all the people, message every single person in the group and say if they're looking for more deals. Or I mean, you can say it better than that, but pretty much what you're gonna say is, hey, I'm wondering, are you an investor or a wholesaler? Or like, what do you do in real estate? And you just try to get to know people. And once you ask that, kind of identify what they're looking for. And if they're looking for more deals, which they most likely are, ask them if you could bird dog for them or wholesale for them. But just say something so that they get a sense that you're gonna start finding deals and you're gonna start hunting for deals for them, and that you would like to get paid in exchange for your services. Bird dogging and wholesaling, it's really common, so most investors will know about it already. And I'm usually not one to say no. Like as an investor myself, if someone comes to me and says, hey, I want a bird dog for you, I want to find deals, I'm like, great, like send me stuff. So I'm really not one to shoot down deals. Other investors might, and that's okay. But just start networking, talk to people, see what they're looking for, see what type of criteria they want, and hunt for those deals. So 1, you have the networking events you can go to find your investors to bird dog for. 2, you got the Facebook groups. 3, a lot of people don't do this, but it's Instagram. Yeah, there may not be Instagram groups yet, but I actually like to go to Instagram to find end buyers or wholesalers. I just literally search in my local area. Like if I'm searching in Fresno, I would search Fresno real estate investing or Fresno realtors even, because a lot of realtors know a lot of end buyers, or Fresno wholesalers, or I would do a bunch of searches to find local people. So Instagram groups is another one. And honestly, at the very beginning, those should be just enough to find a couple investors that you can start confidently bird dogging for, and then start looking for deals. Like, don't get too caught up in finding all the investors in town. Just find a couple or 1 or 2 that you really like and you feel like you trust, and then start hunting for those deals. Because you might feel like you're taking a bunch of action by looking for all these investors, but in reality, you're not. Because in order for all of this to be worth it, you have to take the right action steps. And the right action steps are gonna be finding the deals. So find a couple investors that you like and trust, but then start hunting and look for deals every day, whether you're actually driving for dollars, whether you're cold calling sellers, whether you're knocking on doors, which is a great way to find deals for free. I mean, besides gas, which you could bike around or you can walk or run around neighborhoods, you know, you could do all those things for free. Start looking for deals yourself. And once you find potential addresses of sellers that might sell, whether there's just a beat up house or you actually talk to the sellers, just send the address to the investor. Or if you want to go a step further, you could try to lock it up yourself and then wholesale it to someone. But that is bird dogging 101. I hope this video was helpful to you. And if you want to watch more videos like this, I make a lot of content about real estate, money, and self-development, and I also just document my journey as a young real estate investor and entrepreneur. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you at the next one.